कल हमने स्ट्रक्चरल प्रॉपर्टीज स्टार्ट की थी, जिसमें हमने सबसे फर्स्ट देखा था ट्रायंगल्स, सेकंड वाज सेंट्रलिटी, थर्ड वाज बिटवीननेस, एंड फिर हमने डिग्री सेंट्रलिटी को थोड़ा इन डिटेल देखा था। इसी में एक और कंसेप्ट होता है, आपने जो असाइनमेंट फर्स्ट एसएनए असाइनमेंट में यूज भी किया होगा, कि हम इस डिग्री सेंट्रलिटी या डिग्री ग्राफ को प्लॉट कर सकते हैं। इसको बोलते हैं डिग्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन। हर्षल, आप रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे हैं ना? डिग्री डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ग्राफ, जिसमें आपके एक्स एक्सिस पे डिग्रीज होते हैं, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम 0 एंड सो ऑन, जो भी मैक्सिमम डिग्री होता है, एंड यहाँ पे फ्रीक्वेंसी होती है कि कोई डिग्री कितनी बार आई है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं अपना ये कल वाला एग्जाम्पल जो था, ये वाला, इसको ही प्लॉट करूँ तो इसमें 0 डिग्री है ही नहीं, 1 डिग्री एक बार आई है, और 2 डिग्री 2 बार आई है, 3 डिग्री एक बार आई है। तो इसकी प्लॉटिंग होगी।
Sorry to interrupt. So, English, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry. In continuation to degree centrality, we'll discuss a concept known as degree distribution graph, in which on the x-axis we have degree and on the y-axis we have frequency. Now, to plot this graph, let's say I am plotting this graph for this above example here. So I do not have any node with 0 degree. I have one node with 1 degree. So let's say my degree is 1 and my frequency is also 1. So this will be my plot. For 2 degree I have 2 nodes, and for 3 degree again I have 1 node. So this is what my graph will look like. Generally, the structure of this graph is in this format. So in this structure, the nodes that you can see over here are having high connectivity, and the nodes that we see on the upper side, or these are also known as central nodes. Whereas the nodes that you see on the upper side are known as peripheral nodes. Central nodes mean nodes that are having more connectivity or are having more degree. That means they are more important. And peripheral nodes means nodes which are having less connectivity or less degree. So this is all about degree centrality. I hope till degree centrality everything is clear. Okay.
Can you repeat about that last graph?
This one?
Yes, the curve.
So,
how did that come?
This is a general representation. This is not a specific graph. This is a general representation. In SNA assignment 1, you guys might have seen the very first question, first part. We were asked to plot the degree distribution. So we got a graph, something in this shape. Means you don't get this line, you get a bar, histogram only, but the peaks of the histogram come in this shape.
Right, got it. So,
the nodes that are represented here are known as central nodes, and the nodes that are represented on the upper end are known as peripheral nodes.
Got it, thanks.
Okay, moving on to the next concept, which is clustering coefficient. Clustering coefficient we have discussed earlier also. Now I am going to discuss it in detail a bit. So we have two sorts of clustering coefficient. One is local clustering coefficient that you define for every node, and other is global clustering coefficient that we define for entire graph. So let's talk about the local clustering coefficient. So the formula for local clustering coefficient is, let's say I have to calculate for a node I. So my formula will be 2 multiplied by sorry, number of links between neighbor of node I, between neighbors of node I divided by ki. Ki means neighbors of node I multiplied by ki minus 1. So this is the formula for clustering coefficient, where ki is equals to neighbors of node I. Now let's take an example and see how this actually works. Let me draw a graph here. This is A, B, C, and G. So let's calculate clustering coefficient for each node. So let's start with node A. Clustering coefficient of node A. So what is my formula? 2 multiplied by number of links between neighbors of node I. First of all, I'll see who are the neighbors of node I. So node A only has one neighbor, that is B. So of course there will be no links between the neighbor as there is only one neighbor. So my formula will be 2 into 0 divided by 1 into 1 minus 1. So this tends to be 0. Now let's try for node B. Clustering coefficient of node B. First of all, the formula is 2 multiplied by number of links divided by number of neighbors. So let's calculate neighbors of node B. So node B has neighbor A, D, E, and C. So it has total 4 neighbors. So in the denominator, you will directly get 4 into 4 minus 1. Now let's see how many neighbors are forming a link. There is no link for A, there is no link for C, there is a link between D and E. So there is just one link between the neighbors. So if you solve this, you get 1 by 6. Same way I'll calculate for
वंशी एक बार रिपीट करोगे क्लस्टरिंग कोफिशिएंट ऑफ बी नहीं समझ आया
okay. See, the formula is 2. So 2 to I have written directly. Then let's talk about the denominator first. Denominator is k. K means number of neighbors of B. So BK, if you want to see the neighbors, this is B here. I want to see who are the neighbors. So this is the first neighbor, second neighbor, third neighbor, fourth neighbor. B ka direct neighbors. So I have written 4 because we have 4 neighbors. Isliye I have written 4 here. So now let's go back to the formula multiplied by k minus I. So simply 4 minus 1. K minus 1, sorry. So I have written 4 minus 1 here. Till here it's clear? 2, 4 and 4 minus 1. How this 3 numbers came? Now this particular number. What is this number? This number is how many links are present between the neighbors of I. So who are the neighbors of I? A, C, E and D. Among these 4, are there any links? Is there any link between AC? No. Is there a link between AD? No. AE? No link. Now let's check from C. From C also there is no link between the neighbors. Now only D and E are the neighbors that are connected. So only one link is present between the neighbors. We are calculating link between neighbors.
Got it. Thank you.
We'll see for other examples also, so this concept will get more clear. Let's talk about node C. Node C also, because there is only one neighbor, you will directly get 0. Okay? Same goes for node G. G also has only one neighbor, so iska bhi it will be 0. So these three are 0. Clustering coefficient of A, C and G are directly 0. Now B we have calculated. Now let's try for D. Let's calculate for D. The formula ke according it will be 2 into, we'll leave the space, we'll fill it out later. First of all, let's calculate how many direct neighbors are there for D. There is 1, 2, 3 and 4 neighbors of D. The same 4 into 4 minus 1. Now let's see how many neighbors of D are connected. Can anyone tell me? How many neighbors of D are connected to each other?
2.
Correct. One is this B and E and one is this E and F. So there are two neighbors connected. You solve this, you will get 1 by 3. Now let's try for clustering coefficient of F. This one. So it will be 2 multiplied by, niche we have to write the neighbors. So F has only two neighbors, D and E. So 2 into 2 minus 1. How many neighbors of F are connected?
1.
One neighbor, correct. That is D and E. So your answer is 2 into, sorry. So the answer comes out to be 2 into 1 divided by 2 into 1, that is 1. Now the last element that is left is clustering coefficient of E. This one. Now clustering coefficient of E will be 2 multiplied by, in the denominator, let's calculate the neighbors of E first of all, that is B, D, F. 3 neighbors we have. So 3 into 3 minus 1. How many neighbors of E are connected?
Two.
Yes, 2. So you solve this, you get 2 by 3 as your answer. So we got clustering coefficient for each node. Correct? Now let's talk about, now if I want to find the clustering coefficient of the entire network or the entire graph, how to do that? So very simple. That is first of all known as the global clustering coefficient. Till now what we were discussing was local clustering coefficient. Now we are discussing global clustering coefficient. So the formula for global clustering coefficient is very simple. It is average of all clustering coefficients. Okay, so all clustering coefficients we have to take average. How many nodes are there in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Total we have 7 nodes. So my average will be something like this, and I have to add the value of each clustering coefficient. For 3 nodes I got 0. Then I got 1 by 6, 1 by 3, 2 by 3 and a 1. So let's solve this. When you solve this, you get your answer to be 13 by 42, which is your global clustering coefficient. Very simple. We just take the average of all nodes. Now just be careful. Even if a node is having clustering coefficient 0, you need to calculate or you need to include it in the total. We can't do like 1 by 6 plus 1 by 3 plus 2 by 3 plus 1 divided by 4. That will give you a wrong answer. You have to divide it by 7 because total nodes were 7. Any doubt till here? Okay, now moving on, let's see what is the significance of clustering coefficient, or what exactly can be determined from this. So if my clustering coefficient is 0, that means no neighbors connect to each other. If my clustering coefficient is say 1, that means this is a complete graph. All neighbors connect to each other. If my like if I get any other value other than 0 and 1, then that means it gives, let's say my value is 0.7. This means there are 70% chances that any two neighbors of node I will connect to each other. So this is what we infer from clustering coefficient. The value of clustering coefficient will always be in between 0 to 1. Now let's see what is the meaning of this global coefficient. So this is 13 by 42. What is 13 by 42? It is 0.3. It is 0.3. So this means there is 30% chances in the entire network for any two neighbors to connect to each other. Okay. I hope this is clear, the entire clustering coefficient thing.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Next thing that we are going to discuss, next centrality measure is eigenvector centrality. Actually, there is no numerical that I found for this. So I'll just I'll see if I can find any numerical today. I'll share it with you tomorrow. Today I'll just tell you the definition of it. So what is eigenvector centrality? Let's say we have a network and we have built up its adjacency matrix. Now what I can do, if I equate this adjacency matrix into x equals to lambda into x and find this lambda, this gives me my eigenvectors. Now for any eigenvector of a particular node I can be calculated as 1 by lambda summation xij into E of j. So this is the equation for finding eigenvector. It is a recursive measure. Recursive measure means the value for eigenvector centrality of a node I will depend on the eigenvector of another node j. So it is a recursive measure. I'll try to find more detail about this particular centrality and we'll get back to you tomorrow. Now, moving on, till now, whatever centrality we have discussed, they were all based on node level centrality. Now, next we'll be discussing about edge centrality measures. So, in edge centrality measures, we'll be discussing two types of centrality basically. Measure. So the first one is edge betweenness and second one is edge embeddedness. So what's the difference between this? Let's discuss. So the first one is edge betweenness. We already discussed what was node betweenness. Node betweenness was how many times a particular node is coming in between a shortest path. Similarly, edge betweenness is how many times a particular edge is coming in between a shortest path. Let's say this is a edge AB. And this is how my graph looks like. Here I am not talking about any particular node, I am talking about edges. Okay, so let's say this is AB, this is C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, so what I can do, the formula will remain same. The formula will be, here we had the formula, number of shortest path from A divided by total number of paths which do not have A as their starting or end point. Same formula I'll apply, number of shortest path from A to B, matlab A to B as in the edge AB, divided by total paths which do not have AB as their starting edge or ending edge. Okay, so this is what edge betweenness is. So let's try to calculate the edge betweenness for this particular edge AB. So my edge betweenness for the edge AB will be, first of all, number of shortest path from in which AB will come. C to H, AB will come. C to G, AB will come. C to F, AB will come in between. Same way D to F, D to G, D to H. E to F, E to G, E to H. So total I have 9 edges in which AB will come in between. Total paths will be, one path you can have C to D, C to E, D to E. Like this you can have total, I think there will be 15 paths. So this is how your edge betweenness can be calculated. Same formula.
What is total paths here?
Total path, like from C to D, one path, C to E, C to F, C to G, C to H, then same way D to E,
Okay.
and so on. Like this you can count. Now, why do we need this edge betweenness, or why do we, how is this useful for us? So, edge betweenness is used to detect communities. So, how can this be used to detect community? What I'll do, if I have a graph, my first step will be, I'll calculate edge betweenness for all the edges that are present. Okay. Once I calculate all the edges that are present in the graph, the edge betweenness for all the edges, I'll try to find out which edge has the highest betweenness. Now, whichever edge will have my highest betweenness, I'll delete that edge from my graph. By doing this process over and over, I will come to a conclusion where I could identify my different communities. Now, the criteria about when to stop, or how we should know exactly when to stop removing the edges is based on modularity measure that Sir said that he'll be teaching in coming classes. So we'll be discussing at that moment. So what exactly how edge betweenness works in real life? For example, let's say you have some path over here. Okay, let's say it's here, and there is another path over here. Okay, these are the two communities, or let's say these are two places, two cities, city A, city B. Now to connect these both cities, what I did, I built a highway. Okay, so this is my link that is used to connect these two cities. Now there was a lot of rush on this link, so what I did, I built another path which could connect these two cities. I built one more path. So now what I need to figure out, now this graph was directly given to you. You need to identify where are the two different communities which are, what are the two different communities which are existing. So if you notice, if I talk about this edge AB, this will have, and this CD, these both will have highest betweenness, right? Maybe AB will have slightly greater betweenness compared to CD. So that's why what we do to detect communities, we calculate edge betweenness for each edge and delete the edge having highest betweenness. Let's say we calculated for all the edges and AB was having highest betweenness. So what I'll do, I'll delete this AB. Next step, I'll again calculate all the edge betweenness. Again, I saw CD is having highest betweenness now. I'll delete this CD. And this process continues, and the measure to stop this process is based on modularity measure. When to stop this process is based on modularity measure. So this is just a concept. There's no numerical about this. So it's just a concept of how to detect community using edge betweenness. I hope this concept is clear.
This example is not that clear, Anshika.
Which
Yeah,
one?
matlab,
Second graph. A
yeah,
B
why?
distance and C and D का distance.
And in that, I have a doubt कि जो Rishi said कि we will delete this. So why do we do that? So वैसा थोड़ा ये.
Actually we want to find communities. ठीक है, ये तो अभी I told you that A and B are different cities. For example, you didn't knew these are different cities. Okay, we weren't aware about them being different. We were just given a graph like this. What is happening? Okay, you were just given a graph. Maybe one more line is given to you like this and like this. A graph like this is given. You want to detect different communities in the graph. So to detect different communities, what we do, what is a community? A community is a tightly packed nodes in which there is highest connectivity. Okay, and how do we detect whether these two communities are different? If there is a line from which has highest betweenness, that means it's like a uh, bridge. Consider this as a bridge. If you have to go from A point to B and there is a bridge in between, you'll always have to travel through that bridge to go to other place. There is no other way, right? So that is why to detect two communities, we have to remove the bridges from our graph. Once you remove all the bridges from the graph, you can easily identify, okay, this is community 1, this is community 2.
अच्छा, so मतलब correct me if I'm wrong. So edge betweenness we use to detect communities, ऐसे?
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
I hope this is now pretty clear.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Sanchita. Very clear.
Now moving on to the second measure in edges, that is edge embeddedness. This is the second measure. Now what is edge embeddedness? For suppose there are 2 points. There's a edge A and B. Okay. Now what we do, we have a graph something like this. So edge embeddedness is nothing but number of common neighbors between the endpoints of a edge. Let's say this B can have more, like this graph would be, okay. So if A and B is my main edge for which I am calculating edge embeddedness, and I need to find number of, so what is edge embeddedness? It is number of common neighbors between A and B. Now let's see what are the neighbors of A? Let's list that down first. Neighbors of A. So what all are the neighbors of A? Let me name these. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These numbers are the names of the node. What all are the neighbors of A? This is node A. What all are the neighbors of A?
8,
1,
1, 2,
8,
3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4,
A,
and 8.
B,
and B.
C,
And B. Yeah, of course. Yes. And now neighbors of B. What all are the neighbors of B?
1, 2, 3, 4,
1,
5,
2, 3,
6,
4, 5, 6, and 8.
and 8.
So what we need to find? We need to find the common neighbors. So what are the common neighbors? 1, 2, 3. So this is the measure of edge embeddedness. Now how to calculate that? The formula for this is, like if I need to calculate edge embeddedness for AB, so it is common neighbors divided by total neighbors. Now when you calculate total neighbors, you do not consider this B and A because we are talking about a edge. So they are definitely they are going to be neighbors. So let's see how many common neighbors we have. 4 common neighbors, correct? And what is the total neighbors? 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, 11 neighbors we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is the edge embeddedness between AB. Common neighbors divided by total number of neighbors.
We don't consider just like जो दो इसके बीच में हम find कर रहे हैं वो दो edge
वो दो
consider
को नहीं
करते हैं।
कंसीडर करेंगे बिकॉज
Okay.
बाय डिफॉल्ट वो तो होंगे ही क्योंकि
Correct,
तभी वो
correct.
एज है.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, the normalized form, let's say we have normalized this. So the normalized form, what we do, it is very simple. Common neighbors, though, it will remain 4 only. Now, while calculating the total neighbors, you do not repeat these 4 again. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, you have already counted now. You will not count it again during B. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your answer in normalized form is 4 by 7. And in normal form, in general form, it is 4 by 11. I hope this part is clear.
In normalized, we are not calculating that 4 common. That's what you're saying?
Again, we are not, like how this 11 came. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Correct? In this way, we counted 11. Now, while counting in normalized form, ये जो 1, 2, 3, 4 है ना, we do not count it again during B. So my counting will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'll not repeat this in normalized form. This is the difference.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Now, this edge embeddedness is used for link prediction. Like earlier one was used for community detection, this is used for link prediction. Okay.
लिंक प्रेडिक्शन मतलब कैसे बता सकते हो?
How can we do that, right? That's what
हाँ,
you're asking.
मतलब exactly क्या है ये?
Yes. So let's say I have this node A, node B. They're not connected right now, but they have a lot of common neighbors. Let's imagine it in this way. There are two people, okay, A and B. They have 10 common friends, but they are not friends among themselves currently. But you can say there is very high chance of them meeting somewhere or other and becoming friends.
Okay, okay.
So this
So
is how.
kind of people you may know में जैसा.
Yes.
Not
So this
exactly,
is-
but kind of, just to understand.
So there are high chances that this A
They
and
may
B
know
can be
each other.
connected.
Okay, okay, okay.
So this
Okay.
way we do link prediction using edge embeddedness.
Okay. So using this, we can predict if these two, what is the
Can
chances
be
of these two
connected.
being connected?
Yes.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Next part. So next part is substructure groups, or how grouping can be done in a network. What type of subgraphs can you see in a network? Substructures, basically. Substructures in a group. In a network, sorry, in a graph, not group. So the very first is click. Here we are going to discuss three substructures: click, plex, and core. The first one is click. Now it is the most tightly knit or most tightly joined subgraph. It is the most tightly joined subgraph. Subgraph is nothing but a part of the entire big graph. Okay? In a network. Now, when every node, what is a click? When every node is connected to each other, then it is known as a click. Or a complete graph. Whenever you find a complete graph, then you can say that this is a click. Let's say I have a structure like this. This is my entire graph. And you are asked to identify the clicks. So can anyone tell me how many clicks are there here? Click is a graph in which every node is connected to each other. So first, this triangle is a click because node 1, 2, 3 each are connected to each other. 1 is connected to 2, 1 is connected to 3. 3 is connected to 1, 3 is connected to 2. 2 is connected to 1, 2 is connected to 3. So this is my click. This again, this triangle is also a click. Triangles are generally, if it is forming this structure, it's a click because each node is connected to one another. Now this square, this is also a click. Let's talk about node 1. Node 1 is connected to node 2, node 3, node 4. This node is also connected to all 3 nodes. And same way, this node is also connected to all 3 nodes. So this is also forming a click. Okay. So the characteristics of click are complete connectivity, now because the connectivity is complete, it's forming a complete graph. That means it is highly dense. And the third characteristic, not the characteristic, but it's a drawback of click, that as the number of nodes increases, it is very difficult to make a complete graph. So up till a certain limit only you can make these complete graph. If your number of nodes are too high, it becomes very difficult to find a click. So this concept of click is clear.
Clear.
Okay. Moving on to the second concept. So the second concept is plexes. Now, plexes is a more relaxed version of click. More relaxed version of click. In click, though, it is compulsory that each node must be connected to one another. In plex, it is not like that. So in plexes, we have a concept of k-plex. Okay. So how this works, let us see. So let's say I have defined, let's define k-plex. So k-plex is, meaning of k-plex is that at least n minus k nodes must be connected. What is the meaning of this? For example, let's say you are given 5 nodes and you are asked that if you want to make a 2-plex, so how many node connectivity is required? So minimum node connectivity you can find by n minus k, that becomes 5 minus 2, which is 3. So minimum 3 connections must be there for it to become k-plex. So let's say if I am having this 5 node, each node must have minimum 3 connection. Let's talk about node A. So it has currently 2 connection. If I make one more connection, let's say I'm making one more connection. So this satisfy k-plex. Each node must satisfy. This is node B. Node B currently has 2 connection. Let me join here and make one more connection. Node C. Node C currently has 2 connection. Let's join over here and make one more connection. Node D. Node D already has 3 connections. And node E. Node E has 1, 2, 3, 4 connections. More than 3 is fine, but minimum 3 must be there. So we can say that, okay, this particular network satisfies 2-plex. So k-plex, k could be any number, that is depending on the question. It could be 2, it could be 3, whatever it is given. How you can define that a particular network is in k-plex or not? Whatever total number of nodes are there minus the value of k, whatever your answer is whatever answer comes, that becomes your minimum number of connection required. Now the characteristic for this becomes, number 1, it has relaxed connectivity. And number 2, as as it has relaxed connectivity, you can have a bigger size. Bigger size or bigger number of node is possible. Whereas in case of Click, bigger size was not possible because it becomes very tough to make a complete graph in a bigger number of nodes. Whereas in Kplex, it is possible. So, any questions regarding Kplex?
Can you please repeat the this one or two point relaxed connectivity and
Okay, so this is a comparative characteristic from Click. In Click, because it was having a complete graph means every node is connected to every other node. So in that case, the connectivity was very high. Everyone was friends with everyone. Whereas in Plex, what we are doing, it is not necessary for all 5 people to be friends with each other. One person can be friends with only 3 or 4 people also. Okay, so the connectivity is little relaxed, means little less. Now, due to this, a large number of possible sizes, a large size is also possible. So these are the two features of Kplex. For example, in our current it's not necessary that everyone is connected to every other one. So we are not a case of Click, and it's not even possible that each person is connected to every other person in the class. So that's why we can. It is very difficult to achieve Click in large nodes, whereas Kplex is still possible when the size increases. Any other doubts? Or
no, it's fine, Panchika.
I hope your question was
Yes.
okay. Now the third one is cores. Cores we have worked on in SNA assignment 1 also. K core basically. Like Kplex, we have K core. So K core is a subgraph where each node is connected to at least a certain number of K other nodes. Where each node is connected to at least a certain number, whatever number you decide for K, other node. See, in Plex, what you were doing n minus k. Here, you do not need to do n minus k, direct k is your answer. For example, I have a 10 node graph. Okay, in which I am saying that I am following a 3 core. Okay, I have to follow a 3 core. That means every node of the 10 node graph must be connected to 3 other nodes. Whereas if it was a 3 plex, then what you need to do? You need to do 10 minus 3. That is 7. 7 other nodes. So in K core, it is a more relaxed version in which only you have to connect to K number of nodes. So here what we are doing, we are providing a threshold that okay, at least you need to connect to 3 nodes. As and when you increase the value of K, more connectivity increases between the graph. This is what K core is all about.
It is almost similar to Kplex, right?
Till this point, we have covered till lecture number 9. Any doubts regarding whatever we have discussed till now? All the structural properties, or even before that, whatever we discussed.
वंशिका
Yes?
ओके आपने ये जो के कोर्स का भी बताया है ये ज़्यादा रिलैक्स रहेगा राइट
Yes.
अबाउट जो भी हमने अभी डिस्कस किया के प्लेक्स और click
Depending what value you are taking of K. If you take 10 core, then it is not a relaxed graph. 10 nodes, 10 core. It won't be relaxed.
तो
But-
it will depend on तो हमें क्वेश्चन ऐसा आ सकता है कि हमें नोट्स दिए गए हैं और की वैल्यू दी गई है और ऐसा हो सकता है कि मतलब हमें फाइंड आउट करना है कि के कोर है या फिर के प्लेक्स है या फिर क्लिक है
I don't have any idea regarding that. What sort of question we'll be receiving. I'll do one thing. I'll check the sample paper sir has given, and based if there is any question based on this topic, I'll let you know.
ओके 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 चलेगा
Yes.
तो इस मामले में के कोर्स वाला जो आपने अभी एग्जांपल दिया 10 नोट्स 3 कोर वाला तो ये जो 3 है हमारी के की वैल्यू रहेगी और इसका कोई एग्जांपल बता सकते हैं क्या ग्राफिकली
इसी को ही मैं I'll do one thing. I'll make the graph of this only. Let's say let me make 10 nodes. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Okay. These are my 10 nodes. So it is a 3-core graph, means each node must be connected to 3 other nodes. So let us connect them in this way. Like this is the first node, it is connected to 2, and here I am connecting it to 1 more. This is my second node, it is connected to currently 2. Let me connect it to 1 more. This is my third node, it is connected to 1 2 3. Fourth node, it is connected to 1 2, and I'll connect it to 1 more 3. This is connected to 1 2. Let me connect it to 1 more 3. This is already connected to 3. If I need to connect, let me connect it to 3 1 2 3. This node is also connected to 3. This is also connected. Now this currently is a 3-core graph. Each node is connected to 3 other nodes.
तो इसमें नेसेसरी नहीं है ना कि मतलब सारे नोड्स तीनों अदर नोड्स कनेक्टेड रहने चाहिए
It is necessary.
इट इज नेसेसरी तो के प्लेक्स में एक जिस था कि उसमें एक 4 नोड्स को कनेक्टेड था अदर
हाँ, ज्यादा हो सकते, कम नहीं हो सकते.
ओके कम नहीं चलेगा ज्यादा चलेगा
हाँ, ज्यादा तो नो प्रॉब्लम. अभी ये 4 से कनेक्टेड है, इट्स वेल एंड गुड, बट 3 से कम नहीं हो सकते. सेम गोज हियर आल्सो. 3 से कम नहीं हो सकते.
ओके 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 समझ गया.
Okay, then I'll end the session.
Just one more doubt, Vanshika.
Yeah.
Given a graph, let's say like a large graph,
Hmm.
can we say that like a smaller part or smaller component of a graph is a K core?
Yes.
And okay.
So this what we have discussed is substructures only. It's not necessary your entire graph is a click, and that's not even possible also. Like here, the example that I gave for click, only these part that are in red circle are clicks. Similarly, you can have a graph in which some part is a click, some is a k-plex, some is a k-core. You may have such a graph.
Okay.
So the heading is only that these are substructures of a graph.
Got it. Thanks.
Yes. Okay. Any other queries?
These properties that we have discussed,
Mm-hmm.
this can exist in any graph, right?
Yes.
It's not necessary that it should be simple only.
No,
Because
these are
self-
basic
self-
properties of
contribute.
graph. So I think they may.
What I was thinking, just when we say that 3 plank, like a 3 core,
Huh.
so here self loop can also contribute as a connection. right?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
but in this course, sir said that we are not considering anything other than simple graph. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, but generally
It
self
depends
loop
on the
is
graph.
considered as a connection.
Okay.
Okay, then I'll end the session. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Vanshika.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Vanshika.